This is the easier-to-read version of Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Chapter 3, Huts on the Beach, retold and voiced by Sara Simpson. Jack was bent down close to the ground. He was so close his nose was almost touching it. He was looking at prints the wild pig had left in the dirt. The prints were so light, Jack almost couldn't see them. Jack crawled on the ground like a dog, following the prints in the dirt. He could see where the pig had left the trail and gone into the jungle. The jungle was tangled and dark. A few weeks had gone by, and Jack's red hair had started to get long. It was hanging in his eyes. He didn't wear a shirt or shoes any more, and his back was covered in freckles and peeling skin from old sunburns. His shorts were dirty and torn. He was carrying a sharp stick about 5 feet long. Jack stood up, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath, smelling the air to see if he could smell the pig. After a minute, Jack opened his eyes and breathed out again. Nothing. The pig was gone. Jack was frustrated. His eyes almost looked crazy because he felt so frustrated. He looked everywhere, but he didn't know where the pig had gone. The jungle was very quiet and very hot. When a bird screeched, Jack was startled. For a minute, he wasn't a hunter. He was a scared boy. Then he saw the pig poop on the path in front of him. The poop was olive green and still warm. The pig was close by. Jack raised his spear and moved quietly along the path. He heard something moving in the leaves nearby. He took his spear and threw it as hard as he could in the direction of the sound. All he could think about was killing the pig so he could eat the meat. He heard the sound of the pig running away. He had missed the pig this time. Jack heard Ralph talking and headed back towards the beach. Ralph didn't even notice Jack. "Do you have any water?" Jack asked Ralph. "Oh, I didn't see you there," Ralph said. "Yes, there's water over by the tree." Jack picked up a coconut shell full of water and took a big drink. Simon and Ralph were trying to use leaves to make a roof on a hut, but it wasn't going well. They were frustrated. "We'll never be able to build shelters," Ralph said. "We've been trying to build huts for 2 days, but they're falling apart." There were 2 shaky-looking huts that looked like they were about to fall over. A third hut had already fallen down. "Everyone who's supposed to be building huts for shelter keeps running off to swim or play," Ralph said. "Nobody is working. Everyone is playing." "Me and my hunters aren't just playing," Jack said. "They're hopeless," Ralph said. "The little uns can't pay attention to anything. Everyone is playing. Only Simon and I are working." "Your chief," Simon said. "Call a meeting and tell them they have to work. Tell them they have to build shelters. Make them do it." "Another meeting," Ralph said. "We have meetings twice a day every day. We talk and talk, but we never actually do anything. If I blew the conch right now, they'd all come running. They'd say they were sorry for being lazy. Work for about 5 minutes, then go right back to playing." "We want meat," Jack said. "Well, we don't have any yet," Ralph said to Jack. "We need to make shelters. All your hunters came back hours ago. You're the last hunter back. They've been swimming and playing ever since, just like everyone else." Jack didn't know how to explain the compulsion he felt to hunt the wild pig. Ralph didn't understand. "I kept going by myself," Jack said. "I thought I could kill the pig if I went by myself." "Well, you didn't kill it," Ralph said. "But I thought I could," Jack said. Ralph and Jack were both frustrated and upset. They were starting to argue. "You probably don't want to help build shelters," Ralph said to Jack. "We want meat," Jack said. "But you never kill the pig to get us any," Ralph said. "But I will kill a pig. Next time I'll be able to kill it," Jack said. "We wounded a pig and the spear fell out. We almost had it." "We need shelters," Ralph said. Jack was angry now. He shouted at Ralph. "Are you saying that hunting is the same as playing?" Jack shouted at Ralph. "Are you saying that you're the one doing real work while I'm playing?" "All I'm saying is that we've worked really hard. That's all," Ralph said. Ralph and Jack's faces were red with anger, but the fight was over for now. "The boys are scared," Ralph said to Jack. "You have to have noticed. The little uns cry at night and have bad dreams, some of the big boys too." "They don't know if this is a good island," Simon said. Jack and Ralph looked at Simon. They had forgotten he was even there. "They think this is a bad place. They think the beastie or the snake thing is real," Simon said. Ralph and Jack both looked away from Simon when he said the word snake. Nobody said that word anymore. "They're stupid," Jack said. "This is a good island." "So we need shelters, so we'll have a home," Ralph said. "If the boys have a home, maybe they won't feel so scared." "When I'm in the jungle hunting," Jack said, "sometimes I feel like something is actually hunting me, not the other way around." Simon and Ralph were silent. "But that's stupid," Jack said, embarrassed. "It just feels like it. Nothing is actually there. I'm not scared like the little uns. That wasn't what I was saying." "We need to get rescued," Ralph said. "That would be the best thing." Jack looked surprised. It was like he had forgotten all about getting rescued. "Rescued? Yes, of course, that would be best," Jack said. "But I'd still like to kill a pig first." "As long as you and your hunters remember to keep the fire going, you can hunt pigs as much as you want," Ralph said to Jack. "Ugh, you and your stupid fire," Jack said, rolling his eyes. Jack and Ralph walked together down the beach. They looked up at the smoke coming from the signal fire on the mountain. Ralph frowned. The smoke looked small from where he was standing. "I wonder if a boat could see the smoke," Ralph said. "Of course it could," Jack said. "You could see that smoke for miles." "I don't think so," Ralph said. "We need to make more smoke. I don't know why the smoke is so small." A thought occurred to Ralph, and he got angry. "Your hunters aren't taking care of the fire," Ralph shouted at Jack. "When the sun gets hot, they go lie in the shade and fall asleep. That's why the smoke is so small." Jack wasn't paying attention to Ralph. He was still thinking about hunting the pig. "If we painted our faces, we could sneak up on the pig and it wouldn't see us," Jack said. "I'm not talking about hunting the pig," Ralph yelled. "I'm talking about the signal fire. I'm talking about getting rescued, but all you care about is hunting." Ralph and Jack stood face to face, both angry, staring at one another. Ralph looked away first. "People don't help much," Ralph said. He wanted to explain how people were never quite what you thought they were. "What about Simon?" Jack said. "He always helps." "He's the only one," Ralph said. "All the others just ran away as soon as they got bored, or building the shelters was hard." "I can help for a few minutes before I get cleaned up," Jack said, looking a little ashamed. "Don't bother," Ralph said. Ralph and Jack got back to the shelters. Simon wasn't there. "Simon must have gotten tired of working on the shelters and decided to go swimming for a while," Jack said. Ralph frowned. That didn't seem like something Simon would do. "Simon is strange," Ralph said. "He's different from the other boys." Jack nodded. He didn't really understand what Ralph was saying about Simon, but it seemed easier just to go along. "After I cool off, I'm going over to the other side of the island to see if I can find any pig tracks," Jack said to Ralph. "Want to come?" "It's almost dark," Ralph said. "If only I could get a pig," Jack said. "I'm going to get back to work on the shelter," Ralph said. Jack and Ralph looked at each other. They didn't understand one another, and felt love and hate at the same time when they looked at the other one. They splashed in the water together and were friends again for now. Simon was not swimming like Jack and Ralph thought. Simon had been watching Jack and Ralph as they argued about hunting and shelters. He got tired of hearing them fight, and he turned and walked into the jungle. He knew exactly where he was going. Little uns followed him. As he passed the fruit trees, he picked fruit for the little uns that was up too high for them to reach on their own. They sat and ate the fruit. Simon kept walking alone. Simon came to a sunny spot among the trees and vines of the jungle. It was a very small, warm, cozy clearing. He looked around to make sure nobody was following him and slipped inside. Simon lay down on the soft ground and curled up in the fetal position. He listened to the sound of the ocean whooshing in the distance. He closed his eyes. Darkness came. Simon was safe in his secret hiding spot.